want to talk about what it really takes to like take your whole team to another level. And I think sometimes we think coaching is one thing when it's actually something else. Um, I think the thing all coaches think, not all coaches obviously, but a lot of coaches think is that like the training, like if we just get the training right, if we hit the right amount of yardage, if we have perfect technique, if we do exactly X, Y, and Z, then our whole team will get better. Like the X's and O's of coaching, right? Like, and this is probably the part that a lot of us think is way more fun than the thing I'm going to mention. And what I'm saying, this is not bad, but really what it takes for your entire team to become better, and not just one person, like for everybody to get better, is it's commitment, it's attendance. And it sounds so simple, but show me a team that has 80% attendance or better, and I'll show you a team that's on the path to being really successful. And that's in the micro review. So like, let's say micro review on a weekly basis. So we want to solve the problem of how do we increase attendance, even on a daily basis, daily, weekly, right? If your group is currently sitting at like 40 to 50% for attendance, how do we take that up a notch? And then looking at a broader view, there's the season, right? What did our overall season attendance look like overall? Because I've seen groups before who had really crappy attendance, say their first 2 months of season, to first 2-3 months, and then back half, last 2 to 3 months, attendance got really good, and those kids still swam pretty dang good. And I'm obviously not talking about elite athletes, but I'm probably not talking to people who are coaching elite in quotations. And the reason why this advice makes sense to, let's say, most 18 and under coaching versus your elite pro level is at the pro level, attendance is a given. So it's like you're not having to convince the best athletes in the world to attend practice. I'm sure there's some of them out there. I'm sure some of you have stories like, well, I heard X, Y, and Z doesn't swim Wednesdays or Fridays. That's besides the point. There's always going to be extremely talented people that can get by without doing every little thing that everybody else is doing. But so you have weekly attendance, you have seasonal attendance, and then year to year. So those are your 3 tiers. And you probably guessed this all starts with the weekly thing. So here's my guide on how to make attendance better on a weekly thing. 1, the coach has to care about the athlete. So if you just treat your team as a place that kids better show up and they better get to work when they get there, you're going to have a hard time with attendance, because it's not very fun and it's hard. And I know we are constantly pushing our athletes to learn how to do better and to be tougher. And I am a strong believer in doing hard things is necessary for the development of our athletes, not just as swimmers, but as people. Like, that's a huge piece of it. But if every day is hard, if every day feels hard and not fun, the willingness to keep doing that thing is pretty low. I mean, just look at yourself or somebody else you know who like try to stick to that diet, who try to stick to that workout plan, and they went real hard and they made it difficult. And it's really, really hard to keep doing difficult things all the time, forever. And sometimes it feels like we design our seasons to just always be hard. So I think step 1 is like, is your place enjoyable to be around? And that has to deal with the coach, the coach's attitude, the coach's personability with his athletes, the coach's relationship with their athletes, the energy of the group. These are all little levers that you have a lot of control over to shift. So 1 is an enjoyable place to be around. Do you have a positive environment for your team? Next, do the kids know that they're getting better? So I would say the old model, or the more difficult model in our sport, is you train for a long time to get some results at the end. And most seasons are 4 to 6 months, and you see your best times at the end. And that still holds true a lot of the ways, and that really is how to develop, I believe, top level athletes. Is like, you got to stack work. You gotta stack work, and then you cash in on it. There's the whole science of periodization behind that. But back to the micro level, how do your athletes feel successful on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? And for you as the coach, this is a great way. You can track little test sets. You can do repeatable sets to see how they're doing. You can give each kid a specific challenge or make it a group challenge for everybody. Let's get good at XYZ, and here's how we're going to track it. But you gotta know that your kids are getting better. Meets, in-season meets, that sort of thing. For a lot of kids, there's a lot of opportunities to go best times at in-season meets. Of course, your high-level athletes, the more top level of your team, especially at 15 and over, this is harder to do with the kids that are competing at a higher level. But for a lot of kids, like 70% of your team, they're going to be able to get the benefit of going best times at meets. So they probably got to go to meets, right? Way to go, sis. That's awesome. So you got meets, you have tracking test sets, you have little goals and challenges, you have opportunities for them to feel successful. Get out swims. Get out swims are like you swim 100 free, you got to be within one of your best or two of your best or something, and you can get out of the whole practice or get out of a set, however you want to do it. With our high schoolers, like, we let them out of the whole practice. We'll do a get out swim halfway through practice, like on the last day of the month. So there's a lot of ways to track progress, but they got to be able to answer the question, like, am I getting better? So back to the hard thing, it's like, one, it's hard. Yes, that's a given. Working hard is hard. It's difficult. Two, am I seeing progress at it? Because if you are working hard and not seeing progress, it's just hard to get that carrot. There's the carrot or the stick, and I'm a way bigger fan of the carrots. What are the carrots? Third thing we can do here is you have to develop a culture of attendance. And that being said, like, athletes who hold each other accountable to going to practice, it's a big deal. Now there's two ways for this. There's the top-down approach and then the side-to-side. The top-down approach is like your committed people are getting onto your less committed people about going. This doesn't always work, I'm going to be honest with you, because especially in peer situations, kids don't like it when people who are their peers are telling them what to do. Like, it's not good. Think of that person you're working with, and they say, hey, you really should do this better. Very rarely does that land well, unless there's a super high level of trust and understanding. And this kind of goes to my other one on the side-to-side view. Like, these are kids working together. You got to build a team. You got to build a group of kids that enjoy being around each other. This is going to the first one of a positive environment. You got to build a team of people who like to work hard with each other, who like to train with each other. Like, if your team is super cliquey, kids are isolated, it's like, hey, the kids who work hard, the kids who don't. Like, that's hard. On top of that, I think this is why a lot of teams mess with group structures and put your more committed groups in one group together. Because it is hard when you're a committed person and you're surrounded by non-committal people. And we've all experienced this in an area that we really care deeply about. So I am a proponent of, like, having group structures that are a little more tailored towards committed versus less committed, or sometimes ability. But this gets dicey real quick, because sometimes I think coaches just want, like, the perfect group. And back to my elite athlete conversation, or what I said about that, is at 14 and under, you don't have elite athletes. You have 14-year-olds. You have 7th graders. Like, you have kids. So it's not fair to create this, and fair is a strong word. I don't think it's fair to create this elite group of kids who, like, they don't even know what they really want to do yet. And it's not elite. But I will say, you know, I'm a big fan of, like, if a kid's willing to do the work and they're committed and they want more, like, let's get them going. Like, let's not hold that kid back. Let's not put that fire out. So you'll have a mix. And I think if you want a group to become more committed, you got to get, like, over 50 or 60% of that group really committed. And it has to be a big enough group, because if there's 10 kids and there's only 5 committed, that's 50%, but it feels really small. It feels like a small group of people that are really committed to the game. But if you have a group of 30, if you have 15 kids there all the time, man, that 15 start developing a pretty strong bond. And I think it's easier to turn 15 to 20 than it is to turn 5 into 7 out of a group of 10 versus a group of 30. That's just what I've noticed and what I've seen. So I hope this helps. And if you're obsessed with, like, the training and you think it's the training really holding you back, I'm kind of talking to myself here because I get obsessed with that. it's really, how do you get more kids to buy in? And buy-in is trust. Buy-in is the environment. Buy-in is the results you're getting. Buy-in is the environment you create. And there's a lot of ways for you to go after it. I'll let you decide what your group needs the most, but I hope this helps. And if you could get the top 150 kids on your team, if your club's that big, or let's say if you can get 50% of your team, especially on the top half, like I'm talking 13 and over, committed to going to practice and doing the work, you're going to be looking really good, and attendance is going to be a huge deal. So this is like my last story on this. You know, this happens every year. In our area, the public schools bus kids to our facility for practice, and it's really nice because they get to start practice at like 3:40. It's their last period of school. But our freshmen and sophomores who were not that committed to swimming as 7th and 8th graders because of rides and commitments and all that, like magically start popping off in high school. But they get bused to practice every day, and it's like, hey, you got to be here. And it becomes more of like just part of their routine, not something they have to get up and do. And lo and behold, those other things start clicking in. They get results. They start feeling better about their swim. They feel better at practice, that sort of thing. And that's just a natural system happening. Like, as kids get bused to our pool, they have way better performance and attendance, and their enjoyment goes up, and it kind of can rocket them into the back half of their swimming career, their last couple of years. I will say, when kids start driving themselves, we will see like a decrease, because you'll go back to like, oh, it's a choice now instead of a requirement. And on our team, we don't have any attendance requirements other than our top group, so it can be difficult. But really, we felt like the attendance requirement, it's especially at the younger levels, like, we're not going to make 11 and 12 year olds go to practice. We're going to make 13 14 year olds go to practice, but the ones who do are going to get something really good out of it. Hope this helps.